Hello, it's Richard Kent again. I wanted to do a short video about the Big Bang, the theory of the Big Bang, which is complete rubbish. The theory is that 13.82 billion years ago, there was a singularity, which is a mass of a huge weight and a massive temperature, but so small that you can't actually see it. It's called a singularity. And this exploded and caused the entire solar system that we now see, all the stars, moon, planets, and everything else. I want to tell you this is absolute garbage, garbage of the first order. And I want to explain to you using an orange. Now, that's not a singularity, that is an orange. But according to the laws of angular momentum, this singularity, much smaller than the orange, but of infinite mass and very high temperature, was spinning very, very fast, which I can't do with this orange, but was spinning very fast in a frictionless environment. So I want to imagine this orange spinning very, very fast. And then it exploded and actually formed all of the universe we now see. That's the Big Bang theory, and I emphasize that's theory, but that is the most prevailing theory that's produced by the evolutionists to explain the universe in which we now find ourselves. I want to explain that if anything is rotating and explodes, little bits come off. I'll take a bit off now. Okay, here's a bit coming off. This is exploding clockwise, and all little bits are exploding clockwise too. Basically, if you've got something rotating clockwise, everything else that comes off it rotates clockwise too. I'm sorry I haven't got a sort of a beautiful model to explain it, but it's rubbish anyway, the Big Bang. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. It's because if we observe the actual universe, and particularly if we observe the planets and we observe the moons around the planets, if the Big Bang theory was correct, according to the laws of angular momentum, everything should be spinning the same way. In other words, the sun should be spinning the same way, the planets should be spinning the same way, and the moons around the planets should be spinning the same way. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Everything should be spinning either clockwise or anti-clockwise. Now I'm going to have to put my glasses on to explain to you what we actually see in the universe. Right, here we go. This is to explain to you that the Big Bang theory is complete rubbish. We know from the observation of planets in our solar system that the planets Venus, Uranus and Pluto spin in the opposite direction to the other 6 planets. In addition to that, there are 63 known moons of the planets. Of these moons, 6 spin in the opposite direction to the remaining 57. And now in our solar system, 3 of the planets, Jupiter, Saturn and Neptune, have moons orbiting in both directions. Now can you imagine that? 3 of the planets have actually got moons orbiting not clockwise, not anti-clockwise, but both ways. How on earth can the evolutionists explain that? It is complete garbage of the first order. It really is absolute garbage. No, God created the heavens and the earth. Actually, there's a code in Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. I can't speak Hebrew, but if you get the original Hebrew text, there are 3 nouns, God, heaven and earth. And if I add up the numeric value of God, heaven and earth, the 3 nouns, God, heaven and earth, it comes to 777, which is God's supernatural stamp on Genesis 1, verse 1, because 7 is God's supernatural number. Is God's supernatural number, and 777 speaks of the Trinity. No, there wasn't 13.8 billion years ago a singularity so dense that it can't be weighed and so of such high temperature that it can't be recorded, that exploded and caused by chance the universe we now see. By the way, have you ever seen an explosion? Have you ever seen an explosion? Have you ever seen an explosion in a factory that ended up with a jumbo jet? Okay. Have you ever seen a car explode and end up as a spaceship? Similarly, have you ever heard of a singularity exploding and ending up with a universe, an ordered universe? And this is a very ordered universe. The Earth is 93 million miles away from the Sun. That is a very specific distance designed by God. If we were 1% closer, all the blood in my body would boil. If we were 1% further away, all the blood in my body would freeze solid. And I'm going to talk on another video about all the parameters that God has put into our planets, into our Earth, into our bodies, in the plants with photosynthesis and everything else. But just for this video, I want to tell you the Big Bang is absolute rubbish of the first order. Sorry about that, but it's complete rubbish. And that's putting it politely. Okay, God bless. See you again soon.